Hi, everybody. Hi, we're live. Just jump into the chair. You are on YouTube, Live with Georgia, and welcome to the show. $10 readings, 30% goes to charity, and tonight we are studying and learning all about the Judgment Card. Hello, hello, hello. You will know that there are 78 cards in this wonderful tarot deck, and we have been through almost 22 of the major arcana. The Judgment Card is card 20, and because we started with the Fool, we've actually done 21 cards of the major arcana. Is that not amazing? That means that I have done at least 21 shows. Beginning June 20, I think it was, and that was a party show. But that's a lot of if you've been following along and you've been kind of learning and working with the archetypes of each of these tarot cards, you've been going through the journey that the Fool's journey. This is like Joseph Campbell talking about the hero's journey. And moving through these really major sort of life milestones. And it's very exciting. We're coming to the end of that. Jennifer, hello. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for being a big part of my being here. Congratulations. Thank you so much. I was trying to find some ring to put on because I do love them, and they've tarnished a little, but doesn't matter. You can't see. Linda, hello. How is everybody? I have the Rider-Waite-Smith. This is the one that I work with, the Borderless Edition, Smith-Waite Tarot. Now, I did find out that the people who this is created by US Games, so I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. I'll put it right up. Maybe get myself out of view. Come on, camera. You can focus on this. So if you can see this, I'm going to try just. Can't get my camera to focus on that. This deck came out in 2017, and what they did is they artificially antiqued. This is what I found out recently. They artificially antiqued the colors to make it look, like maybe it was done around the turn of the century. But the original cards are probably more pigmented than this. I love these colors. I love the antique look. So, I think if you do buy this deck, you're going to be very happy with it. All of the colors are very clear. Everything has been printed quite beautifully. There are so many editions of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck that you really can't go wrong whichever deck you go with. So I'm very excited to talk about my upcoming course. This is the second time that I've done it in the span of a year, and it'll be the last time that I run this course. So if you really want to learn how to read the tarot with me in a very sort of short, condensed, and intense version in one day, 5 hours, then make sure that you let me know today. My website, georgiamorantis.com, is undergoing some sort of difficulty. It's under construction at the moment. I got some fatal error warning, and I have to go into the back of WordPress and fix it up. So if you go to my website at the moment, it won't be showing that. You won't be able to see anything, actually. You get a white screen, and Jennifer was telling me this just before we went on. So if you're interested, my course is on March 27th. It's a Saturday. It goes from 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's a 1 hour break for lunch at 12. If you have studied with me before, the time between 2 and 4 p.m. will be a time that you can come on in and join the rest of the group, and we'll be breaking out into Zoom breakout rooms and doing practice readings with each other. And I'm hoping that in that 2 hour block, we'd be able to get a lot of practices in. We'd be able to do a past, present, future spread. We'd be able to do, say, the central part of the Celtic cross spread. Linda, you did the course with me last November, didn't you? Jennifer Anderson says, I want public chat record to show that your tarot class is amazing. Yay! And I highly, highly recommend. Thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate that. I loved it, and it really deepened my intuition and confidence. Thank you. That says a lot. Your intuition is very deep and very, very broad to start with. I think confidence is the key, isn't it? When we, I think when you don't when you approach something like the tarot or any other intuitive tool that, people are using, and you see them and they're using it, and there's a sort of a fluency that they have, it feels daunting when you pick it up and you don't quite understand, what this means. The truth is, the secret to tarot reading is that you are the receptor. You are the one that receives the information. It's not the cards that are receiving the information. So there's this myth that the cards are the ones with all the power. Actually, when we say it's in the cards, then what we mean is that we're really just using the cards as a bounce to, talk about the story and what's going on. But you are the receiver. You are the person that connects through your inner senses. And I think because we practice that, and because it becomes obvious that actually it's the same intuition that you use on a regular daily basis, or the same intuition or gut feeling that you have about people that you meet, or when you walk into a room and you get a feel for all the people, or you get a feel for the atmosphere. It's exactly the same thing. So that when you're tapping into when you're doing a reading, you're really just tapping into that energy. And I think once people realize that that's what you really need to tap into when you're doing a tarot reading, then you can just run with it. And confidence is everything. I think confidence is probably the first and most important thing. Confidence and faith and trust in your own intuition. That comes first, and then everything after, right? Telling a story you can do, picking a card, starting to speak about what the figure's doing. We're all people oriented. So, these tarot cards and reading the tarot is actually in the end very easy. And I think, thank you for saying confidence, Jennifer, because I think that's the most important key. And I think that's probably what people, will leave with me. I find it very easy to help people find their confidence in learning how to read the tarot. So email me, georgiamarantos@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook and message me, and I'll be able to send you all the details. And for those people who have signed up, we've got 4 people already signed up. Yay! There's 4 more seats for anyone else who's been thinking, sitting on the fence. I've had a few people sort of tell me, "Oh, I'd love to do it, but I'm not sure, and I've got something else on." And it's okay. Whoever turns up on the day is going to be part of the perfect group, and we're going to move through it really beautifully. And at the end of the day, you get a PDF file of all the information so that you can always go back at your own time and review. So, okay, that's my Learning to Read the Tarot Play Shop for March 27th. Anybody here who would love to have a reading? We have our charity of the month being the Wild Bird Fund of New York City. It's in Manhattan on 88th Street. It's huge, and so many people are attracted to it. And especially now in the spring, you've got the birds and the nests, and there's always some, interesting, we're always on the lookout for the little sparrow nests. So when the children and I go down to the playground, we look up and we see the little sparrow nests, and we want to climb up there and have a look at them. So I'm shuffling the cards. Let's choose a card. Jennifer, Linda, how have you been? Have you been doing any readings? Talk to me. I'd love to know what you've been doing, given that it's just us here at the moment. What kind of readings have you been doing? Have you been doing any journaling? Have you been sort of pulling out a card a day? How have you been using your tarot cards since you did the course? I'm interested. And in fact, because it's just us, we might just be able to do some readings for each other. Right? Why not? We could do whatever we like. If you have your tarot decks handy, why don't we all pick a card for the day? So this is a card now. I'm going to spread the deck. I've been shuffling them so well. Here we go. Shuffling them for a long time. So this is a card for tonight. Last week we picked the Hermit. Oh, the Queen of Pentacles. Now this past week we lost our beautiful, beautiful, majestic, magnificent cat named Leela. And this is how, I feel at the moment, just kind of loving and caring for her and missing her, and everybody in the family is missing her. And, we're all very kind of fragile and vulnerable. And, you know, there's a lot of love in this picture. I really love the Queen of Pentacles. If you were going to crawl up on anybody's lap, it's going to be the Queen of Pentacles lap. You would feel nurtured, held, and you're in the lap of nature. You know, she really is kind of melting into the background of nature. There's a rabbit, there's a little snail. You know, it doesn't matter how big or small you are. There's the rabbit. Where's the snail? No, I can't remember where the snail is. Or is the snail with the 9 of... Oh, yes, the snail is with the 9 of coins, the 9 of pentacles. Isn't that interesting? I always imagine the little snail here, but no, that's with the 9 of coins. Let me find her just to see. I find the 9 of pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. There she is. See the little snail at the bottom? Little snail. And all those grapes. So she's doing very well. She's in her abundance. And here, the Queen of Pentacles is really abundant in nature. I mean, they're very, very similar women, and one could easily sort of interchange with the other. The difference with the Queen of Pentacles is that she's really, you know, there's a maturity and a wisdom there that because she's in her throne, she can obviously be approached by people. This, you know, the 9 of Pentacles, she's just as approachable when you think about it. She's got her arms open, her chest is open, she's facing you. She doesn't necessarily look like she'd shoo you away if you asked her for any advice, but you know that if you go to the Queen of Pentacles, she's going to look after you. Beautiful card. So I'm really happy to see the Queen of Pentacles and all this love coming from our pets, right? What did you get? Did you pull any cards, Jennifer, Linda? Anybody else here tonight? We've got some people watching. Let me know that you're here just so that we can have a little friendship and conversation. If anybody wants to. Jennifer, since the course, it's been holidays and a month of travel, and I have been remiss in my dedicated time with cards. I'm still developing my confidence with cards in my interpretation. These lives help. Jen, that's right. You have traveling. Did you take your cards with you? I'm curious. You know, taking cards around everywhere you go and pulling cards for friends, that's the way to do it. That's kind of the way to keep up your confidence. But since we're here, yes, she says, perfect. So let's pull a card for tonight. And why don't we, I've got a question for you. So here we go. Am I going to pay for my own question? I think I will. All right, this is my question, and I have 2 readers. Both Linda and Jennifer are going to do my question. How does that sound? Jennifer says she took her mini deck. LOL. I will say that I do cards once a week on Skype with a friend. Oh, that's awesome. Well done. That's really good practice. Do they read for you, or how does that work? Do you read for them? And is it reciprocated? Do you read for each other? I have a question. My question is, hi. Sorry about your cat. Oh, thanks, Heidi. Thank you for a beautiful reading on Thursday. Oh, my pleasure. I'm really glad we got to do it. So Heidi won the 30-minute free reading from 2 weeks ago, and I realized that last week I didn't really give anything away. So tonight I'm going to give away a Smith-Waite tarot deck. And I really love if everybody would share or tell their friends about the course that I'm doing, which is coming up in almost 2 weeks now, 2 weeks from Saturday. Today's the 12th or 13th. Today's the 13th. So in 14 more days, we're going to be doing the course. And if you have signed up, I will be getting out your registration emails probably on Monday once I fix up my website. Jennifer says, yes, reciprocated, but she doesn't do tarot. She does an app. Oh, that's cool. You know what? Apps still work. Again, it's not the cards, it's you. Now, what's helpful to know in the cards, which is why you would do a course, right? It's helpful to understand some of the symbolism that's been put in there by the people that created them. So there was a system, you know, the major arcana, the minor arcana, and then there's an understanding of what each sort of suit means and what kind of meaning it carries and what kind of symbolic meaning, you know, and it's mixed up with Christian Hermeticism and some Kabbalah. and these symbols that have been attached, there's a connection to the Egyptians, there's a connection to the different mystery schools. It's when you start to delve deeper into the meaning, then some of the cards, for example, and I'll just talk about the Wheel of Fortune, right? So there's Christian Hermeticism here, where they're talking about the life of Jesus, really the 4 stages of his life. And then you have the Egyptian gods here. You've got the Sphinx and the and I forgot this one. It's a jackal, the one that you meet once you go into the underworld. And so, all these gods, and then there's the snake that brings you back down, right? The snake and the ego. And there's also the symbols here, the Torah, and these are Hebrew, and these are the symbols for God. And then there are some alchemical symbols, and so we have, all the different all of these have meaning. And once so I think this is water, sulfur, salt, mercury, something like that. I don't remember exactly the ones, but we will go through them. And for example, anybody have a question, let me know. We want to make 30%. We want to send 30% of our readings go to the Wild Bird Fund. And here is the world. Actually, that wasn't the one that I wanted. The other quite intricate one. See all of these alchemical symbols. This is alchemy. So you have the triangle and the square. There's a lot of sacred geometry. There's a lot of chakra work, intimation. Look at this big third eye. Jennifer says, Georgia, I pulled 2 cards for you. The Queen of Cups and the King. Is that the King? The King of Cups. I believe you are holding a powerful, balanced space with your emotions and grief. Oh, thank you. It's a big deal. And I'm also, I'm also crumbling at times and unraveling where I really can't hold the space for everyone. You're delaying with your emotions and helping the family. I'm doing my best. I've got to tell you, I am fraying at the edges. Today was tough. We went to, it does help to be with other cats when, you miss your own. You are dealing with your emotions and helping the family too. Yes. But I wish I could delay them, but I think it's probably better to be with them, be with our emotions, right? And grief is such a big bag. I know grief, Jennifer, because we've all experienced it in some way, shape, or form. And it holds so many emotions all at once, and a sense that something's not okay is kind of there, right? Something's missing, there's a hurting, and it's always there. And you can do other things and your mind can be occupied. So I understand now. I have more compassion for others who have lost their animals, their loved ones. I'm sure it's even more painful and more difficult if you've lost, someone very close, a family member. So I imagine it's even greater. It does feel like our family member has gone. Hi, Rebecca. Hello. How are you? Yeah, Jennifer, I said delaying. Ups and downs of life, she says, and deepening your experience of life to help others. Yeah, it's true, right? And I remember thinking that, until you've experienced something yourself, you really don't have much to offer someone who's going through a particular something. You can maybe understand you can understand what people are saying, but not necessarily the depth of what they're feeling and what other people are experiencing unless you've been through it too, which is why it's really good to seek help from people who have actually been through what you are going through, if it is that you need help at any moment, and they've gotten through it, and they can say, you, hey, I know where you are because I've been there too, and this is how I got out, or this is how it went for me. And then you can be with someone who can hold space for you like that. Anybody? Jen, are you also, it just feels like when grief comes, you sit on your throne and be with it. Yes. And the Queen of Pentacles does look like that, doesn't she? And also the Queen of Cups, because you got the Queen of Cups, right? And the King of Cups. And both of them, both the King and the Queen. The Queen is right in there, right, with the water. And the King is kind of riding his emotions, right? He's kind of floating on his strangely light concrete chair on the ocean with a fish jumping out of water. There she is. Yeah, so Jennifer got the Queen of Cups for me. See her there? You know, there's a lot of reverence and understanding of emotion. And you're right in terms of dealing and holding space for emotion. And there are 3 little children. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. I mean, they're angels, right? They're little mer angels, little mermaid. Actually, they don't have wings, so they're like baby mermaids, cherub mermaids. Yeah, this is a really beautiful card. And this is something that I've never noticed before. And it's interesting how you can be reading the cards for 25 years and never notice something in them before. I never noticed this cliff, you know, this cliff. And I do believe that it's important because I don't think she would have painted it that way. So this is Pamela Coleman Smith, the artist, you know, was directed by Arthur Waite, who designed the deck and really put a lot of thought and energy and knowledge in the symbolism behind the deck. But look at this cliff. I mean, it really is like it's quite abrupt. It ends quite abruptly and then it stops in these rocks. So, you know, there's a sense of an abruptness here. You know, and you sort of think of people jumping off cliffs and, you know, the depth and the darkness of emotions. Jennifer says, and also it feels like when, yes, you sit on your throne. Yes, and it's green, lush on top, and yet appears a sea of emotions at her feet. Yeah, and there's quite a height, right? There's a huge height. So I think it's deliberate. And this, you know, huge mountain, and it has these sharp edges. You know, and so you really have to watch these emotions. You kind of have to watch where they take you, that it's a slippery slope sometimes, you know, and if you lose your footing, you're like down in the depth of emotions, which is what happened today. You know, if you don't sort of keep your feet steady and stay very grounded, you can just fall into the sea. I love this. I'm so grateful that I saw that today. I'm glad you picked it. Thanks, Jennifer. Anybody have a question? Anybody want to ask anything? We are studying the Judgment card today, and I will pull it out now. Why don't we talk about it? It's a fantastic card. Finally, after the moon, the sun, we have the Judgment card. Such a fantastic card. And in the star, remember the star? The star started, didn't it? And then the moon came, and then the sun. So you had all the constellations. And now you've got the dawn of a new day, because what's happened is you're no longer in the night sky. And of course, the sun card indicated that, well, you've come to a new day, and everything it's almost like there's been a whole new beginning. Everybody is stripped down to their bare minimum. What do we really need? What's important? The Judgment card is a bit like, if I can make the analogy to COVID, right? So this is not the judgment day of the second coming, for example, as in Christian sort of understandings that, you know, a figure will come and judge the living and the dead, and we'll all go to heaven or hell based on that judgment. It has nothing to do with that. It may have references to that, but really this card is only about liberation. I believe it's about liberation from duality rather than really going and throwing us further into duality, because the Fool has started his journey and understood that in this 3-dimension there is the harshness of the duality. And once you look at both God and the devil, and you are with both, and you realize and you've come free, because remember in the moon card, you travel between those 2 columns, and then you start your path, and that's your path to enlightenment. And once you're at the moon, you're in the sun, And that's once you're at the sun, you've kind of, the whole sky is filled with spirit, and there's a joy and a bliss. And once you're in that, this is the card of enlightenment. It has actually happened. There's the promise of enlightenment with the tower, where you have that great big strike lightning bolt, but really you still have to process everything that's happened. And then once you're here, you're stripped naked to the essentials. What's necessary? What's necessary is just your connection with spirit and your utter balance, your complete balance in that connection, right? Does this make sense? And you see these Himalayas, you see these really tall mountains that we've seen with the Fool, and we've seen the Hermit. Remember, the Hermit was the one that followed all the signs and did all the, put his knowledge into practice, and from his experience, he came into wisdom, and he was right at the top of the snowy mountains, and then he was coming down leading the way. Well, here we are again, and we're back to these big snowy mountains. So we know that we've come full circle. Look at these beautiful trees in the background. Or is that someone's head? That's someone's head. But there's a tree here, another tree here, and another tree here. So there's life, right? We're not in some imaginary space. This is in life, and we are liberated in life whilst we're alive. And that liberation comes from connection with spirit, from hearing the message, from connecting, and from understanding duality, understanding, all the corners, the masculine, the feminine, understanding, the 4 directions, understanding all of the sacred geometry. It's all in here. Jennifer says, so happy to be joining in. Love the charity Oh, you paid for a reading. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Let's jump into your question. Let's do it. And you are the only one right now, so we could really, really go in depth. Isn't this wonderful? So let me know. What do you want to ask? And even the number of people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And remember, we have the upright triangle and the downward triangle. And these, again, is the collection. These 6 points make, in a 3-dimensional model, make something called a Merkaba. This is sacred geometry. So I think this card, this judgment card, also embraces all of the sacred geometry in this. Who would have thought something that looks like, I think, the flag of Sweden, is it? It looks like a flag, but it's actually not. It looks like the Red Cross. It is a Red Cross, actually. And sometimes it can mean, medical help or, attention, emergency. But it's, for example, or sometimes this trumpet can mean, hearing the sound, or it can be some divine music. So when you take each symbol on its own, it can mean that thing too. But the overall message of this card is, you're coming up out of the darkness into the light, and you understand the truth of who you are. So I'm going to shuffle the cards. Jennifer's got a question. Awesome. If you want to pay for a reading, you can pay through PayPal or Venmo. My email I think you can find me on Venmo with this email, georgiamarantis@gmail.com. Apparently my website's down, so you can't pay through that. So PayPal or Venmo, I think my handle is @Georgia-Marantos. This could be it. Anyway, if you put my name in, I think you'll see a picture of me. I'm sitting in a big armchair looking like a Don. Thanks, Jennifer. All right, so I am going to shuffle the cards for Jennifer. Center. Here we go. Jennifer asks, my question is, will this new opportunity... Oh, hang on. There's something before there. I've been offered 20% of net new business sales, not gross, in a new, more formalized business with established legs and existing clients, where I would be doing ongoing social media in exchange. My question is, Will this new opportunity, the one mentioned above, if I agree, be a smart investment of my time and energy? That is, will it be fulfilling, fun, rewarding, and prosperous? Or simply existing work, contract, and move on? What a great question. So we can actually look at all 5 of those things. So we can look at, will it be fulfilling? Will it be fun? Will it be rewarding? And will it be prosperous? So we can pick one card for each of those because we have the time, right? And or, so this is a comparison, and we can compare it to this because this comes as one big, this is what you're looking at potentially experiencing if you take it on, right? Will these things happen? Or will it be simply existing work, contract, and move on? Now, it could be that they're together, right? Because we're still looking at this particular job. So we could put it together, right? So I'm going to pick one for each of these. Fulfilling, fun, rewarding, prosperous. Okay. Fulfilling, fun, rewarding, prosperous. Be a smart investment of my time and energy. So I think what I'm going to do is, Jennifer, to make it simple, I'm going to look at, will it be, so my questions are going to be, will it be fulfilling? Will it be fun? Will it be rewarding? And will it be prosperous, right? And then we can make an overall statement about whether or not it will be a smart investment of your time and energy, right? Because that's kind of like, you want to know whether you should do it because your time and energy means a lot to you. And time and energy is money. And you want to know if it's going to be fulfilling, right? On all of these levels. So what I've got, and this is as it stands, right? I've got fulfilling. Now, there's 2 ways we can look at this. This is the 3 of Wands. It is the card that comes after the 2 of Wands, which is the card for fun, right? So it's interesting. So the 2 of Wands has a man behind a wall, and here in the 3 of Cards, he's already left the building. So will it be fulfilling? I have to say yes. Now, will you be looking for other work or looking at what else is on the horizon? Yes, right? So I do feel like this is fulfilling and this is fun. Now, they don't look like, these both of the cards are kind of very still, very quiet cards. So it's not like there's the 3 of Cups or the, naked child on a horse in the sun, so they're very quiet cards. So I'd have to read them as, well, they're kind of fulfilling. It's kind of fun. What you've got is you've got yourself looking, outward, and potentially this job, and what I'm feeling about these 2 cards is that it's going to be a stepping stone to something even greater. Now, I know you've probably heard that before and felt that with other jobs, but I do feel that this is true because these 2 cards really come together. Fun and fulfilling is what we asked about, but I feel they're also telling a story about where you go from here, because this guy has the world in his hands, and this guy is really looking at traveling and taking what he has even further. So this job offers you both of these things. Now, although it doesn't look fun and really fulfilling, I do feel that you will be fulfilled and you will want more, right? It just feels like there'll be more, or a feeling that you want more. Now, rewarding. Now we have to look at rewarding. And I'm going to bring them all together because I think it's important that we read them all together, even though we've asked separately. Rewarding is absolutely in the whole deck. And you know this, Jennifer, this is the card that would symbolize someone who feels well rewarded, right? He's plump, he's happy, he's content, right? He's sitting on his stool. He's got all of his cups lined up. Look at me. I'm doing really well, and I'm very happy. I'm very content, right? This is someone who is fulfilled. Now, when we asked about fulfilling and fun, we didn't get sort of you know, incredible cards, but I do feel that these cards indicate that they're going to take you, there'll be more. Now, when we ask about prosperous, this is the only card that makes me think, well, that's the opposite, right? So maybe it's not as prosperous as you'd like it to be. Let's have a look. Let's break this down, this card. What does this card mean? Right? So prosperous meaning, and the next question that comes after that, let me know if this feels right, Jen, would be, well, if it's not going to be that prosperous, then is it worth my time? Is it worth my time and energy? Right? Because that's the next obvious question. Well, it might be fulfilling and it might sort of get me onto other jobs. If that's enough for me, that's okay, right? So the first question is around money and rewarding on a prosperous on the money, right? So I was thinking in terms of money. If this card or the question about prosperity was not around money, let me know. Yes, exactly that question. All right. So this is the prosperity card. Is it going to be worth your while from a money perspective to do this job? So this card is indicating not so much. Maybe you're not going to get as much money as you expect. So let's have a look. Will it be that there won't be as much money as you expect? So I feel this is a confirmation card, right? Because there are only 4 coins here and this person's holding on tight. So I do feel that that's here. So then the next question is, should I go ahead and do it? Is it worth my time and energy? Now, this is almost perplexing. So this is someone who is working hard. Is it worth your time and energy? Yes. Now, obviously, it can't be for the money. So there must be something in this job, this potential, right, that's going to be good for you that doesn't have anything to do with prosperity in this sense. Because prosperity can mean a lot of things. But I think you and I were just talking about, it's hilarious, right? But I think this is how, you know, my feeling is what this card is talking about is that it is worth your effort because this guy is working hard and he's making something beautiful. And it's almost like this is a foundational, you know how you sit, you make a decision to sit and meditate every day. And as you sit and meditate, you don't feel like you're achieving anything. But actually, after a certain amount of time, it becomes cumulative that you do. And I do feel that that's what this is talking about. These 2 cards are talking about the fact that it may not be that money is going to be immediately obvious, right? But it's going to lead to something else. So the more times you sit down and meditate, the more likely it is that you are going to start to experience some benefits from that meditating, from that time that you put into meditation. And this is exactly this. This is the message that's coming through. Let me pick one more card. One more card around, right? Is this investment of your time and energy? Because that's what we asked here. Is it? You know, what are you creating? What are you creating? Let's have a look at this. If you go ahead and do it, and if you don't go ahead and do it, right? Right? Will something else come up? Okay. Oh my God, hilarious. So what I've got is if you go ahead and do it, you get the King of Cups, the Knight of Cups. I'm just trying to get it back into focus here. There we go. There we go. So you've got the Knight of Cups. Should I and shouldn't I? So this is if you should. This is if you do, right? And if you don't. You actually do have a choice because both cards are pretty good. Now, it's possible, and this is what I'm going to delve into next. It's possible, because these cards are indicating this, it's possible that this job is a stepping stone to something else, something even bigger, right? Because sometimes you just got to get the other side, you've got to step on a couple of stones in the middle. You're going to be fine if you don't do it. See the Star card? Perfectly fine. If you do it, let's have a look. If you do it, it could easily meet someone, right? Yes. Jennifer says, is it the one? Right? Here's the moon. Although I chose that one without knowing. So let me just have a look. I don't like to not be specific when I pick a card. So let me have a look at this Knight of Cups as I would when we were considering this is the workplace, right? And then we'll have a look at meeting someone. It's possible because the suitor is always the Knight of Cups. He's always the one making an offering. So will you get so first I'm going to ask the question. If we were in a private reading, this is what I would be doing. I'd be teasing out all the details. Will this job lead to other job offers? Right? All right. So we get the 9 of Wands, which would indicate a no, right? Is it meeting someone? Is this card, does the Knight of Cups indicate at this workplace that you would meet someone? Yes. The Sun card. So is it worth your time? I think it is going to be a short term because the Knight of Swords is someone who works very quickly and indicates a kind of speedy time, right? And so do the Knight of, the 3 of Wands and the 2 of Wands. So this is very fast energy, right? So even though you're going to, feel the work of it, there's going to be something in it for you, right? And how long will this job last? Let's have a look. Do you already know how long it is? Is it a contract? Do you know how long it's going to last? Because it's looking like it's just a short term. $12 months. It's open. So I get strong energy around 2 months, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Between 10 months, basically as long as you want. So I've got like strong 2 months, right? So you might just go in it for 2 months, or there's also another potential opportunity for you being in there for a whole 10 months to a year, right? Because that's when the cards brighten up again. So I think by 2 months, you're going to know. Let's have a look. By 2 months, you'll know whether or not it's worth your while. Will you miss out? Right? Will you miss out if you don't take this job? Oh, that's interesting. I shuffled the cards again and we asked, will you miss out? So I really feel like, intuitively and from the cards that we've gotten, because it's very rare to get the same card again. And we did ask, will you miss out? Is it worth it? You got to meet the guy with the cup, Jen. So this is very exciting that there's someone for you to meet, right? Right? And don't have any sort of preconceived judgments. Right? Don't have any just don't even worry. This is clearly an offering from spirit, and you can't make this card up. This card is literally, this job is an offering from spirit. Here's the same card being offered to you. I think you should take the cup. You know what? You make your own decisions. And I'm really just laughing, and you're my friend, and we can have these, we can have a conversation like this. And I was telling someone else that, sometimes when you read for friends, you drop your boundaries, and in some ways it becomes more like a conversation. And when you're doing a professional reading, really, it's best to have that sense of, what do I want? I want for my best friend to have, I want for my friends to have what they wish for. And really, as a friend, you want your friends to wish for you the things that you desire for, right? So it's a support to do this for others. But when you're reading the tarot, you really have to step back into your intuition, and that intuition, there's a boundary there between what you want for your friends and what spirit says is going to be there. What really picking up from the cards from an intuitive level as opposed to what you want to see. But I think the fact that I really feel the fact that he came back, what would you miss out on? There you go. We come full circle. And, will it be, I think, is it going to be a waste of your time? That's another way of asking the same question. No. Right? That's a no. So you're not going to waste your time. Is it going to be all of those things which you asked for, which was fulfilling, fun, rewarding, prosperous? Clearly not all of them, right? It's going to lead you to something else. There's definitely something in it for you. If we're to kind of wrap it all up, there's definitely something in it for you. It's being presented to you. It's coming to you. Jennifer Anderson says, I got the same card, the Four of Cups, when you did it yourself. Wow. But I knew it was too close. Like, I didn't want to die under the tree in contemplation and indecision. That's right. This guy who's decomposing under the tree because he's not moving. He's got his arms and his legs crossed. It's true. And sometimes we don't see it. We don't see it. And it's good to talk about it. And it's great to have, a friend read for you, and then it's like, oh, I get it. Yes, it is. And to get exactly the same card, it's meaningful. It means energetically we're picking up the right energy, right? Let's find him. It's a very nice, quiet energy tonight. Here we go. There's the Four of Cups. And he's sitting on his heel. There's also a real youthfulness here. So I feel that, this offering is going to make you feel young again. There's something about it that's kind of like a fresh beginning, even though there's a little bit of a revisiting somewhere, something you've done before but not quite like this. Will it lead to more work, given that we're still reading for you? I think so. I have a feeling, and this is what the Two of Wands and the Three of Wands was indicated, that once you do this work, you're going to be like, I think I know how to do this better. The Queen of Swords is the kind of woman that, she's a great strategist. She's the woman that you go to for any kind of high thought and understanding and wisdom. And I really feel like, she's definitely a boss. She's the person who, could effortlessly run her own business. And I know you are your own sort of contractor and you have your own business at the moment. But I feel that she takes it up a level. She steps it up a level. So I feel like this experience that you have with this workplace is going to step everything up a level for you, right? So it might very well be worth having that experience so that you can get to the next step. Jen says, thank you, Georgia. That was so helpful. Awesome. I think you've probably all noticed that I just keep asking questions. And I think that's part of the trick. You don't just ask one question because it's not always there. So I've been watching, and I'm sure some of you watch these shows. I've been watching the Psychic Investigators. So this is a series you can watch most of them on YouTube actually, but it's a series where psychics and mediums have kind of stepped in to help police officers solve missing persons cases, cold cases, people that have met with crime, etc. And their capacity to sort of tap in. So why do I bring it up? I bring it up because when the police become familiar with the psychics and they understand how to ask questions. So a lot of these sort of psychics, these really amazing people that can give names of streets, can pinpoint a body on a map, can pinpoint the place of, a missing child in a forest. I mean, it's extraordinary talent and extraordinary connection. that if a police officer is not accustomed to working with an intuitive, then there's kind of like a lack of, what happens is, if you've got a really good investigator who knows how to use the psychic as a tool, so it's a little bit like a tarot reader with the tool, right? Because it ends up being you and yourself. You're asking the question. So essentially, if the police officer knows to ask the right questions of that psychic medium, they find everything a lot sooner. And, you can see in these cases what happened, that they meet the psychic and they ask, who is the person that perpetrated the crime on this individual? And they'll give this information and then it stops. But then they're like, well, we followed that lead and it didn't go anywhere. And they come back to the psychic and they ask more questions, which they could have asked the first time. So this is a very long-winded way for me to say that it's really important to ask a lot of questions and to keep digging, right? And to keep getting more details, because maybe the details aren't there. And if the details aren't there, then you come to a dead end, and that's okay. But if you keep digging, you'll find them. And sometimes you'll end up validating some of the earlier, information that you got. And that's the key. So I'm not doing anything really special outside of just digging in, being a bulldog, wanting to find out more information. And that makes it really good reading. There are 9 people here. Give me a thumbs up. Can everybody give me a thumbs up for the reading? Not for the reading, for the video. And please let your friends know. My website is down, but I will get it back up tomorrow or the next day. Please let your friends know that I have a Learn to Read a Tarot play shop coming up in 2 weeks, March 27th. It's Saturday. It'll go from 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to... And I think the clocks change tomorrow, right, everybody? We go forward, I think. And it finishes at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we go all day. We take an hour for lunch, and we spend most of the morning familiarizing ourselves with all of the symbolism in all of the tarot. We really speed through. So if you've been following me on YouTube and getting these lives, then you're getting a lot more information, because we really run through everything. But at the end of the day, you get a PDF of the session. We'll do some guided meditation. We'll have a look at the card and how reading them upright, you can still find the positives and the negatives in them. We do. And then we have 2 hours at the end of the day where I'm going to commit to those 2 hours and make sure that we spend all that time doing practice readings, because we want to get your confidence up. Confidence is everything, and learning how to dig in with those questions is awesome. Colleen, hello. Love always. Hi. What is my Scorpio guy's next move towards me? Now, we've been talking about Scorpio guys all night. So love always. It's $10 a question. Let me know if you've paid on PayPal or, let me see, PayPal or Venmo at the moment. That's all I can accept, because my website is down. Otherwise, you would have been able to go to my website. My handle is Georgia-Marantos, I think, on Venmo. But that guy that came up for you, Jennifer, that guy is a Scorpio, right? So not only is there, a lot of next moves toward me. So this is a Scorpio guy, right? And not only that, but he has a lot of... Yeah, it is. This guy's Scorpio. So I don't know if the guy that you're going to meet is a Scorpio. You're going to have to tell us, Jen. Have you met a Scorpio recently? I'm now curious. So, this is a very humble... Oh, you had an ex who was a Scorpio? Well, this is... So what happens is each card has a connection to an astrological sign. You sent a donation. Thank you so much, love. So this is the Scorpio. All right. Here we go. Love always. Maybe Scorpio has a nice Virgo brother. We know it's an offering, and we know it's a sincere offering. Why do we know it's a sincere offering? Because the horse is kind of humbled and has his head down, right? And it's in action, so that, you know, the horse is moving, so there's actually action happening. It's not going to be that someone's just going to love you from afar. They're going to make an offering. It will be obvious. All right, so love always has, what is my Scorpio guy's next move towards me? This is a relationship question, right? So love always, I hope you don't mind. I like to teach as I go along. And in a relationship spread, we're going to have a look at him and you, and then his intentions, right? As well as your intentions. So there is your Scorpio guy and you. And then you have his intentions, his next move toward you, and your next move to him. And let's pick a card for the future of this relationship. All right. So I have this guy. This is who he is. Now we're going to talk a little bit about who he is, but he's a pretty spiritual guy, pretty deep guy. The Hermit is a very quiet card. So, you know, when I tap into him, and if I can just tap into him now. So this is Love Always's Scorpio guy. So he makes me feel he's a little bit slippery. I can't quite get a hold of him. Have a look at him. He's kind of disappeared a little bit on me. Now, does that mean that he's more of an inner person, more of a kind of inner sanctuary, a little bit more social phobic? Or is this because we've also been separated by, you know, space and time? Maybe he's not living so close to you, or there's a COVID, you know, right? So that's what I'm getting for him. Now, his intentions towards you, this is what I get for you, right? So you know exactly how you feel. You know exactly what you want, right? You know what you want because these are your intentions. You want to be with him, and you adore him in some ways, or you certainly like the look of him, right? How do I know that? The Page of Wands. So look at the way that the Page of Wands is adoring this beautiful wand, right? And you're very well dressed and really quite a lovely person. We've got that connection with you there. And this is his intention toward you. So the King of Pentacles is an interesting guy. I mean, he's almost melting into the background. So is he disappearing? I don't know. He's very quiet. I mean, these two cards are very, very quiet. Now, the future of the relationship gives me the Nine of Wands. How is this manifesting between you? It's not what you want to manifest, because what you want to manifest, you want to achieve everything that you want to achieve in the world. This is the World card. You really want to just get on with all the things that you want to achieve in life, a relationship, a career, you know, money. Let's say that we just want the full picture, right? And why not? We all deserve it, right? This is the full picture. Everything that you've always wanted. And why would the relationship, the future of the relationship, look like this? Okay, so it's not because of you. So what we've got is energetically, he's stalling. You know, it's his energy that's creating this, because I'm not getting that energy from you. Right? I'm getting a different energy from you. I'm seeing you as wanting to move forward and wanting to make it happen. You love this connection. Why? And so what's going on for him? Let's find out. Why is he melting into the background? Why is he so still? Is he, this card to me says he's already kind of a man of a household. Is he already commanding another household? I have to ask these questions. You know, I don't get a third person here, but I just get someone who's at the top of his empire and he's really busy doing what he's doing. Right? This guy, he's the emperor. He often signifies a partner, a husband, a boyfriend, a lover, He's the man in the relationship, right? He's a man in relationship. He's a man with a partner. His partner is the Empress. And so what's going on for him? Is he already in relationship with someone else? Is he already structured or already sort of set up somewhere? What's creating this coolness? Why don't I see him moving towards you? So let's have a look at this. Let's delve into this card. Why not, right? We've still got a good half an hour to go, and we want more details around the future of the relationship. So why does it look like someone's getting beat on the head? We don't want that. You don't want to manifest that. I'm sure that's not why you asked the question. Right? Is it that it's going to take some time? Okay. Could time be a factor? Love always. Because the Knight of Pentacles is someone who is sort of, long, steady, dependable, very grounded, but can take a long time to happen, right? It can take a long time to happen with this. It's a long time he's busy with work. So I feel like this, right? This kind of energy that's there for this means that you are going to have to be patient. I picked around, what are you going to have to do? Oh, apparently my connection is unstable, and let me know if I fall off or anything, but I think that may have gone. So I got the Death card when I said, well, what are you going to do? How are you going to deal with this? You do have to transform the way that you're thinking about this relationship. And Death is a card of transformation. It can also be a card of endings. But I think at the moment, in the way that you're looking at this relationship, you need to change the way that you're thinking about it. So how do you change? What can be helpful to you to release you from disappointment, right? In terms of, well, it's not happening quick enough for me. It may not be. Oh, thanks, Colleen. Right? So what would be helpful to you, I asked. And the Fool would be helpful. So in this relationship, what's going to benefit you is if you are able to take an attitude that the Fool has. Now, the Fool is one who trusts that everything is going to be okay, who understands that the next step that they take is spirit-driven and spirit-held, that you're going to be okay, right? And that the way that you feel about the relationship as it changes allows you to experience more freedom. Okay, so this card is a positive card. This card indicates that it's just a little bit hard work getting there. So, we want it when we want it, but sometimes it's going to come in divine timing. So the relationship is here. It's a matter of, if you keep so can you transform this card into something else? Do you want to feel tired? Do you want to feel like you're constantly working at the relationship? No, right? You don't want to be exhausted. How do you help yourself here? Right? You dip into the High Priestess and her energy. You dip into your intuition, right? Yes, you get readings. It's helpful to get a reading because, we're just validating what you already know. And you tap into your own intuition and you say, is this worth waiting for or not? And then you make your decision because that's all you're doing. This is a timing card. This is a timing card. These cards take time for change, time. So are you willing to wait, right, while he's busy doing what he's doing, immersed in his work, right, disappearing into his work? Is it okay for you to wait? In this card says it appears to be that it's worth your wait and it's worth changing your perspective into the Fool. I would put these two cards up on your fridge and I would have them motivate you to release yourself from reaching out for it and sitting back and waiting, a bit of waiting and seeing. This is the information that's coming through at the moment. This is what you're manifesting. This is what, it feels that this is what's evolving with this relationship. You know, if you were to sort of constantly ask and keep, you know, bringing up a conversation about what's going to happen and what's around the corner and give me some time or give me some understanding, then you just have argument, and you want to avoid this for your own sake, right? We don't want to get into those kind of conversations because, you know, thoughts create energy, and energy in motion, emotion creates negative feelings, and you just don't want to do that for yourself. So stay light, keep it light. And I think you're going to benefit from these 3 cards. These are your cards. These are your cards that become your spell, you know. This is the magic that you're weaving with your own tarot cards and with your own energy levels. So keep your energy high and bright. Okay, let go of anything needing to happen by a certain time. If you can, that's something you can do. Or if there's something you don't want to do, then you're going to make your own decision, right, about hanging around for the relationship to move forward. So here you've got the Fool and the Sun. So let's have a look at timing. That might be helpful, right? Would it be helpful to know how long will it take? Exactly how long are we talking about? Like, he's busy at work and, you know. So when we do timing, ouch, I just touched a very sensitive part of my thumb. When we look at timing, I choose 1 card for overall timing. How long do you have to wait before, you know, we got the Knight of Pentacles, who's that guy that's kind of like in there for the long run, but can sometimes be a bit slow. How long do you have to wait for it to kind of come around? So we get Cups. So it's only in the matter of months, really. Right? Cups comes before Pentacles. So if we look at 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 4 months. I think something's going to happen in 4 months. Why? Because for those of you who are looking how to do timing spreads, so I chose the overall timing. When I choose 1 card, and I keep repeating it, but let me know if you get bored of hearing it. 1 card will tell, depending on what suit comes up, tells me how long it's going to take. So my question is, how long before you get the feeling, and love always says yes. So how long before you get the feeling that, okay, this relation, how long do you have to wait before you see some speed picking up, right? So here you go, and you've got 4 cups. So I said months, right? Now, if I had decided to choose 1, 2, 3, 4 months, I could have just stuck with this, but I said to myself, well, let's find out how many months. So we said it'd be months. Now, how many months? Well, we chose this for 1, and that's, you know, and when I'm choosing cards, when I'm laying down cards for each month, I'm looking for a card that hits me to say, yes, you know, yes now. This is the card that stands out as the number for you. So this is 1 month. The 2 month, it didn't, I mean, isn't it, this is a very positive card, but it didn't stand out as much as this card. This is the number 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 months, which is the 4 cups. So I could have said 4 cups. It feels like months, and it would be 4. So I use the wands are kind of seconds, hours to days. The swords are days to weeks. The cups are weeks to months. And the pentacles are months to years, and any of the major arcana are years, right? So by 4 months, Ali says, hi, can I still donate for a reading? Sure you can. We've kind of talked about the Judgment card, although I will pull out, let's see, a lot of my books have disappeared. Ali, yes, you can. My PayPal is at georgiamarantos@gmail.com. And you can also find me on Venmo, right? So see how that came up? So maybe you just got to bide your time for a few months. Just get happy. Take your attention off him and do stuff that makes you feel good. Be the Fool, be the Sun card, be the 3 of Cups. Go out with your girlfriends. The sun has come. I don't know if you're living in the Northeast. I don't know which part of the country you're in or which part of the world you're in. But as the seasons are changing now and we're coming into warmer weather, it's just so wonderful to be out in nature, being with people, coming across. And I know COVID is still around and here, and we've got the South African variant and the UK variant, and all these different mutations are kind of mixing in. It's still nice to have the warm weather. It's just so wonderful. So, Ali, let me know if you donate. I'm going to pull out the Judgment card. And, oh, I know what I can do. I can move this to the side and pull up my my tarot shop PDF. There it is. Learn to read the tarot. So I do send out a PDF, and we are going to call on the Judgment card. So if you were with me on March 27th, this is what you would hear me say about the Judgment card. There it is. I don't think I can share a screen using the studio. Can I? I've never done that before. What is that? I don't know what that is. Share. Oh, this is me sharing the live stream somewhere. Huh. That's great. I didn't know I could do that. So I was just looking to be able to share the screen. So I can only share the screen on a Zoom. No worries. So let me read all about. So in the Judgment card, which I'm going to find, if you have the Judgment card with you, I hope, love always, that was that you feel that you got your question answered. Let me know. And now we're looking at the Judgment card. Okay, so the Judgment card is right here. Let's get some. Oh, I need it to be over there. And I need this to be over here. Good. There we go. So see, we can see this in detail. Until Ali, let me know when you have paid for a question. So in astrology, this is the 2 10s. So if you ever get this card with a couple of other 10s, then it indicates an ending, or it definitely signifies a no, right? So whenever we get a repeat of certain numbers, it really does sort of amplify the effect and the meaning of that number. And the X is also interesting because the X is a cross and it's a no. So you can, that ends up, the Roman numerals end up being a symbol in themselves. So Pluto is the planet of death, resurrection, forgiveness, release. It's a planet of transformation. And clearly these people have been transformed. They're being awakened from the dead. They're kind of gray or zombie colored, right? They're not the living dead because they've transcended death in their waking up. It's a true wake-up call, right? And in numerology, 20 becomes a 2, and 2 is like a new beginning. You've just started, you're coming into one and the other, you're coming into duality. But here, I believe you're really transcending duality, because the next card is the World card, which we spoke about very, very briefly. But it really is someone who's come into their own, into the understanding of who we are, who we really are, understanding the magic of being able to manifest in this world, kind of co-creation that law of attraction talks about. And this is the card that happens before that. The Archangel in blue indicates trust. The trumpet is music, and it's toning the 7 chakras. There are 7 little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little lines indicating the 7 chakras. The angel is communicating about immortality. How can you be immortal? How can you connect with the immortality, the immortal self, the part of us, or the who we are that is everlasting, the soul. This communion with your soul, with source, with who we really are. That's what this card is. It's extraordinary, really. So the Red Cross signifies medical treatment, revival, balance, the 4 directions. We talked a little about that, the masculine and the feminine, equilibrium. The coffins are the old ways. This is how we used to be. That used to keep us. Attachment to And this is what we were talking about in Love Always' reading, because what we're looking at is if we stay too attached to something, then we kind of kill it, right? And we certainly die ourselves in the process. So if we detach, this is detachment. This judgment card is all about detachment, right? Detaching from the need to have something look a certain way, detaching from the need to have, all of these things coming in the way that we want them. Sometimes they're going to come where, in divine timing, in the way that we best need them, not the way that we best want them. And, you've lived long enough, you'll realize that there's truth in that. These naked people are taking nothing with themselves. Why? Because they understand finally that what's important is love, and what's important is, how we treat ourselves and feel about ourselves, and how we treat others. That's really important. What do we take with us when we're gone? We don't take possessions. We don't take money. We take the love that we expressed for those around us and those who are suffering, and how we did we do anything to alleviate our own suffering and others' suffering? Did we? Can we? How much did we love? How deep did our love go? Can we love more? I mean, we can do this now. We don't need to wait till we're about to die, right? Now, this is the death before death. This is dying whilst living. The naked people taking nothing with them, and the tall mountains, which we talked about before, the fool and the hermit. So these keywords are liberation, ascension, rebirth, transformation, and the angel being the spirit messenger. Absolutely. And attuning all your chakras. Sometimes this can be, the Lemurian crystal. I feel like if those Lemurian crystals that have these, that, have the connection to the Lemurians and Atlantis, where you have perfected human beings who are living a highly spiritual life, this card feels very connected to that. Love Always. Yes, it looks like it's worth waiting for, but I have to be patient. Yes, that's right. Ali. So Ali says, wonderful. Thank you so much for your payment, Ali. I had moved the screen, so I was just talking about the judgment card and I couldn't see your comments, but now I'm back. And we have 10 more minutes, so don't worry, we'll get your question in and I'll go over if I haven't sort of finished answering your question. Ali asks, how will my future husband look like? I'm curious. I'm curious too. Let's find out. Let's see what Spirit is going to show us. Yes, I got it. Thank you. So, Ali, I'm going to pick a card for you. Oh, look at that. It's wonderful. You're ready for a relationship. Now, your future husband. Oh, I'm laughing because we've had this card before. So this is you, Ali, and this is your future husband. And if we could get these two looking in the same direction, we have this one upside down, but now you can see that they're meeting each other, right? So this is you and this is your future husband. Okay. So I've got you're both knights. So I've got you both at the same age. I've got your future husband a little fairer than you. Okay. If we're just looking at the cards, both knights, right? So it's good that you're both knights. I wonder if even though you're around the same age, he might be like 1 year younger, or there might be someone where there's just like 1 year younger. There might be like a year difference. Either he's older by a year or younger by a year. We don't know. My pleasure. Thank you so much, Love Always. And I wish you the best. Come back and let us know. So, so the Knight of Cups is here. Let's tap into the Knight of Cups. I mean, it's wonderful that you're both knights, right? You're both on the same page. Now, we're not looking at pages because we're looking at the knights. But I do feel like you're both on the same page. And he comes in, and I feel like it will be around summer that you get to meet, because this feels like a lot warmer. This is like a cooler, sort of winter scene, and this is like a summer scene. So I feel like there's, it looks like the sand, and this is a river, but it could be a beach. I even feel like maybe in Europe, you know, I don't know if this is, if you're planning a trip to Europe, but there's certainly a feel that it's coming around summertime. And let's have a feel for him. So I'm just going to tap into him. So I get curly hair. And so what I get with him is that he's kind of really up close and personal with you, and you're going to feel like a best friend and really going to want to look at the future with you. So, you know, I get that sense that he's one of these guys that likes to plan the future out. You know, this is really wonderful to meet someone who's kind of on the same page as you. I sort of saying those words, you know, he's on the same page as you. You're both on the same page. You're both ready to commit. You're both ready to move forward with a relationship in your life. How do you meet? Right? Isn't that interesting? Are you curious? How do you meet? The Emperor is here. This is interesting. So there's some structure here. Maybe this is at work. Let's pull cards for, do you already know this guy? I don't think you do. I don't think you do. This card didn't give me a feeling for that you already knew. So where do you meet? Is it the internet? Is it work? Is it through introduction through a friend? Is it just perchance? So I kind of get, this is interesting. Did I ask the internet? The first thing that I asked, can you see any hair color? I get fair. I get him fair. You know, like on a lighter brown or kind of blonde. I get a lot, maybe there's mixed in with some white, you know. I get a fair hair color. Or just a lighter color. I get his colors are lighter. Yeah. So, you know, here there's the darker horse, your colors, and these are his colors. So when you compare them, it just feels like his colors are a little lighter than yours. There's a yellow cup, there's a yellow coin. So I do feel like you're going to share a lot. I really feel like there's going to be a lot of sharing between you. Let's see when he comes. So I feel like it's already written for you. This is like, you know, it's been written in the book. Is this destiny? Is this fate? Right? Look. Now, I don't know if his hair's going to be dyed. I mean, I have no idea. I just get that sense of fair, right? Fair. Now, I'm sure that, you know, given the potential for this amazing relationship where you're both on the same page, you're not going to look at his hair color and go, oh, no way, I don't want to be with you. Right? It's not going to matter, because once the two souls meet, it's going to be like, I don't even care what your hair is. I don't even care what you look like. You know, when two souls are connected on that deep soul level, you really, none of that matters. You know, actually every part of the other person becomes intriguing and beautiful. And there's this sense that, you know, there's just a knowing you've met this person before, right? But I do feel like it's written in the book. So the High Priestess turned up for the internet, I think. Oh, I can't remember. Did I say the internet first? So it's not going to be at work. That's for sure. And are you going to meet? Will you be introduced? It doesn't feel like that's going to be the way either. Although, because I did say, oh, is it at work? You know, it might be, is it someone you already know? Did we ask that question? Because there it is. That's the one for, is it someone you already know? And I just didn't, you know, I didn't get that feeling as a yes, because she's frowning if you look at her. Look at her. Look at the way she's looking at this. And when I looked at the card, I asked the question, I looked at the card, I just saw this glare that she had. It just didn't feel like that was what was going on there. I do feel that it's written in the books for you to have this relationship, and it is coming. Let's have a look at your timing. Right, let's look at timing. We've done a lot of timing tonight, right? So it's sooner than you think, because the Swords, remember, as I mentioned before, has a timing around sort of days to weeks. Let's have a look at how many weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I get 6 weeks. That'll take you into beginning of May. So sooner than you think. You're manifesting this relationship much quicker than you think. I don't know what other readers have said for you, but this is something. And I just want to let everybody know once again, I'm offering a Learn to Read the Tarot Cards yourself. Isn't that wonderful? Sometimes just asking, because you're looking forward to his arrival, you're really concentrating on the joy. You're really concentrating on the excitement of and anticipation, right? So, don't worry about when, if he doesn't turn up in 6 weeks, don't be disheartened. You know that he's coming and he'll come. And you're manifesting 6 weeks right now, right? It could be 4 weeks. It could be 3 weeks. It could be tomorrow, right? You just know that you put the desire out there and the universe said yes. And I don't know how many readers you've asked, but this reader is picking up the energy of this person, and you're both going to be on the same page, and it really feels wonderful. And all you have to do is revel in all that good stuff. Revel in the knowing that he's coming, and in the understanding that it will be a true soul connection, and that you'll both be looking at the future in the same way, and you'll want to have that togetherness, right? That you'll be traveling together in life together for as long as it lasts, right? We never know. There's no permanence. And that's what I wanted to say with the Judgment card, right? What keeps us in the coffin is this idea of permanence and our attachments to all these things which are impermanent, and that's our suffering. The coffin is suffering. And when you come out of the coffins of suffering, we are then free. Judgment is the ultimate freedom card, because we are free from our own suffering. I have to put that down in the course before I forget it, right? It's the ultimate card of freedom. We are free from our own suffering, and we want to get to judgment. It's the card. I can't do it now. Oh, well, I'll have to listen to the recording and put it down on paper later. But it really is freedom from suffering. That's what we want. And the way to do that now, Ali, right, is to just revel in the knowing that he's coming, and to sit and enjoy and sort of squeeze the juice out of that knowing, and be happy in that place. Because that happiness, that connection with the goodness of it, allows him to come, right? So any resistant thoughts, any negative sort of emotion creates resistance to him coming. So like, why isn't he coming now? And I'm sick of waiting, and all of these kind of questions. Or he's not coming the way I thought he'd come, or someone said I'd meet him on the internet and it didn't happen. It's like, forget all that. Just know that he's coming, right? And then as you connect to that feeling, and that wonderful feeling of just joy of knowing he's coming, then it almost doesn't matter when he comes, and that he will, when he does come, you'll just be in joy. Oh, thank you so much. Great live, Georgia. Thanks. I love that I learn and grow from everyone and anyone's reading. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me tonight. Thank you to everybody who came, to everyone who paid $10 for a reading. 30% of that will go to the Wild Bird Fund in Manhattan. They're on West 88th Street, and I've visited them a few times. I know they exist. I know they do good work. They have some volunteers, but I know they also need a lot of money to do what they do. They help a lot of birds, and a lot of really interesting birds, and even the common ones, the little sparrows and the pigeons, they help everyone. Ali, get your hair done. He's coming soon. I love that, Jen. Fun reading. Thanks, Ali. Wonderful. Bye, everybody. Have a great night. And please let people know. I'm going to post about it on Facebook and Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Georgia Marantos3, and on Facebook at Georgia Marantos3. I'll be posting about it. If you can share and let your friends know. There are 4 seats left. Woohoo! For the play shop coming up on March 27th. I'll see you all next week. Bye. Bye. Have a great night.